It's 5:36 and the afternoon show continues.
And we're very excited now to have star Suzanne Somers with us. Suzanne, thank you so much for spending a few minutes to talk about your latest venture with us.
Well, it's my pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about going from acting to, of course, doing all the great workout routines and being an author. And now you've developed an app.
I have. I've got in the app business. You know, it has to do with sleeping. Nobody's sleeping. I'm on the lecture circuit, and I usually speak to groups of women, 4,000 to 6,000, and I ask always when I walk out on stage, how many in this arena here sleep 5 hours or less? And almost every hand goes up. People cannot sleep. Young people can't sleep. There's so much stress. Hormonal women can't sleep because of hormonal imbalance, which I've written so much about. And we're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep a night, and rarely do people achieve that. I'm able to sleep 8 hours a night. I think it has a lot to do with why I'm in such good health at this time in my life. So we created this app to, you go to your iPad or iPhone and you buy the app. It's called NAP26, Suzanne Somers NAP26. And you can get it on your iPhone, iPad, or your Android platform, and or the Apple App Store, or the Android Marketplace. There's so many different places you can get it. And it's $1.99. You put your earphones in your ears. If you have an eye mask, put that on to make it real dark. And it sounds like a waterfall, but it's really these binaural pulses that replicate sleep, and it puts you into the first two phases of sleep. First time I did it, I fought it. I thought, I'm not suggestible. This can't happen. And 26 minutes later, I heard the little birds chirping, and I woke up and realized I'd been in a great sleep. But 26 minutes, it was proven by NASA on their on their pilots that 26 minutes is exactly the amount of time before you go into the third level of sleep, which is where you get groggy. So this is the equivalent of 3 hours of deep sleep, but you wake up refreshed. You know, in the afternoon, if you want to take a nap, but you got so many lists in your head and that you can't turn off the noise. There's no way those lists can exist in your head when you've got this, what essentially sounds like a waterfall in your ears. It's like being under Niagara Falls.
And
wow.
The ultimate really power nap.
Yeah, it is a power nap, that is for sure. Like, we were coming back from Minnesota yesterday, and my husband put it in because we hadn't slept well the night before because of the thunderstorms. And I saw him put him in. I was writing in my place next to him. I look over, and he's in this deep sleep. And 26 minutes later, he wakes up and goes, wow, that was great. And you can tell he'd been in a deep sleep. And on the air this weekend in Minnesota, I put a model, a young girl. She was maybe 30 years old. And so I put her to bed. And I had her put the earphones in. And afterwards, she said, I didn't think that I was going to fall asleep. I'm not tired. And I had a good night's sleep last night. But I watched her. We had the camera on her, and you could see she had a couple of nap jerks. and when she woke up, there was that moment when she didn't know where she was, and then she wakes up. She said, wow, that was incredible. So for people who want to take a nap, it's great. There's also, when you go to the App Store, there's the one is a 26-minute nap, and the other one is a 90-minute, and that's if you want to sleep at night and you can't sleep. You put this in, and the earphones stay in your ears for 90 minutes, and that sets up everybody to sleep for 7 or 8 hours. If we don't sleep, it is such a detriment to our health, and it. You know, when women go into menopause, what happens is the estrogen, progesterone dip, and when that dips, those are minor hormones. The major hormones, adrenal, cortisol, insulin, thyroid, rise. Well, when cortisol is high, you cannot sleep, and that's why so many menopausal women can't sleep, because their estrogen, progesterone is so low and they haven't got it balanced yet. Chronic high cortisol leads to heart attack and stroke, and what's the biggest killer of women? Heart attack and stroke. So this is going to be helpful for women in many, many ways, for men in many ways. My husband, who's constantly got lists in his head all the time, sometimes I wake up, you know, when you've been sleeping with someone for 43 years, you can feel their when they're awake, and I'll go, what are you doing? He goes, yeah, no, I'm just doing deals in my head. So he now is putting the the NAP26 or the NAP, the 90-minute one in his ears if he wakes up, so that he can turn off the noise and go back to sleep, and then he's more productive the next day.
Now, Suzanne, I know you got a new book out as well called Sexy Forever. Now, I don't need that, but tell us a little bit about that project.
You don't need Sexy
Well, I just...
I it wasn't an arrogant title that I chose. I thought, it's aspirational. I'm frankly one of the people around who is enjoying aging. I'm going to be 65 this year, and I am loving it because I'm in such good health, and I've got balanced hormones, and all the things I've been writing about. I just finished my 22nd book. Been kind of busy since Three's Company.
There is no way that you were 65. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wow. 1946. It happens. You water them and they grow. But I think what I'm trying to accomplish with my books is aging is great if you know how to do it, but you got to eat right. You've got to eliminate as many chemicals as you possibly can, because we're just in a toxic soup. You've got to sleep. You got to manage your stress. And you got to balance your hormones. That's the cocktail for aging well. And if you do those things, it makes it such a pleasure, because we've got some wisdom at this age, hopefully, a little wisdom and perspective. I don't sweat things like I used to. I can kind of float above it now and go, yeah, I've been there. I know what that is. And I think, so many people are on so many drugs that the brains are getting foggy, and so many chemicals that the brains are getting foggy. And what is really tragic about that is that we are losing our wisdom pool. I have girlfriends who are in their 70s. I do not go to any of them for wisdom, because they're so messed up on all the different drugs they take, when they really just need natural hormones, in my estimation. So, I try to put out a positive message, and I think sleeping, if I can get people sleeping, it's $1.99, and probably the best $1.99 you'll ever spend, because you will sleep. Everybody who I put on it who tries to say, that's not going to work for me, they all go to sleep. It's a great thing.
Well, it's NAP26, and people can certainly find that if they just look for it, right. No problem. And then, do you have a website where people can find out what you're doing, just all the different things you're doing?
I have SuzanneSummers.com, but I also have SexyForever.com, where I write a newsletter every day, and Facebook, and it's fun. Gosh, the world has become so small with this technology.
Well, it has, definitely. Well, Suzanne, I know... go ahead.
I'm sorry. To be able to tell people, go to your iPhone or your iPad, just go to the App Store and click on NAP26, and knowing that anywhere in the world they can do that, it boggles my mind.
Well, it's
I think that I was resistant. When I wrote my first 7 books longhand, and my husband kept saying, "You've got to get a computer." I said, "Don't mess with the way I write. I write longhand, and that's how I think, and this is how I do it. I've been successful so far." And now that I look back on that, I think, how crazy to write longhand.
Husbands are always trying to get us to do stuff we don't want to. Well, Suzanne, it's been great talking to you. I know you're on a crazy schedule, and we really appreciate you being with us for just the few minutes you could this afternoon.
I appreciate you listening. I really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.